Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Second Act. Jennifer Lopez makes her return to the big screen after stints as a judge on reality shows or on a television series, going back to music for a while. She has come back with the genre she knows best, and that is the romantic comedy. Except I would argue this one is just more of a sappy comedy. Romance is not the central point here. So this is a triumphant return for Jennifer Lopez to the big screen, and the genre? Meh, not really. So let's go ahead and kick things off with the positives. To start, I think our cast is pretty solid here, actually. One thing that really helps this film is the fact that Jennifer Lopez and Leah Remini are in it together, and they're actually like real life besties of sorts, and their chemistry is great on screen. That off-screen friendship really translated well to the screen. It felt like authentic friends, they felt real, it was all natural, their banter between each other was really fun and funny, and that did a lot to kind of push us along. And that did a lot for the comedy of the film, the heart of the film, just livening up the experience. Plus, I think Leah Remini is actually pretty funny here. She gets most of the laughs overall, and Jennifer Lopez is Jennifer Lopez here. It's exactly what you'd expect. And then we have Milo Ventimiglia Hadi. I think I pronounced that right. And he's really strong here as well. He's just very likable, very warm, and love interesty. Vanessa Hudgens is also very warm. I don't know that she really stretched or did anything great, but she was fine. Speaking on that relationship between Jennifer Lopez and Milo, I actually liked it. I think that was a strong point, mostly because the relationship was kind of a twist on what we normally see. The gender roles were swapped, but not in any sort of an abrasive way. They were just slightly swapped. They had a different dynamic to this relationship. Parts of that and other relationship-y sexual stuff, actually I'm going to get to over in the negatives, but I like that we had that little bit of a different dynamic between them, and that was not the central story here. My last positive is kind of a potential type of positive, in the fact that I think this film brings up a lot of good points. We have a lot of interesting things to think about leaving the film, what it has to say about our current society. Mainly, what it has to say about kind of our workforce and people's values as humans and as useful to our society being placed on stuff like education and wealth. And in today's society, I think that's actually something we should be exploring more. We don't explore it quite enough in positive ways, in constructive ways, how you need a degree to get any sort of good job, but in addition to the degree, you need like 5 years experience, and you're like, oh my gosh, how do you get both of these things? This is an entry-level position. That's not what this film explores, but that's kind of where my mind went on a tangent to, based on the conversation started here. But we do directly address people who fall through the cracks of our system, people who don't have the money to attend school, who don't have those resources available to them, and that really deep hole that society just puts them into right off the bat, and how hard it is to dig yourself out of the hole, and maybe how unsavory some of the decisions you make to get out of that may be. So those were really interesting concepts to bring up. Plus, we have some stuff about adoption in here that I think is really interesting to explore. There are good ideas under here, but unfortunately, that's going to lead us right into our negatives. Well, first of all, if you've seen a Jennifer Lopez film, you've more or less seen Second Act. This movie feels like it's literally ripped right out of the early 2000s. And, for what it's worth, Jennifer Lopez doesn't really look like she's aged since the early 2000s. So you could tell me this was put out in 2001 and I would have believed you. The lighting, the staging, the camera work, the script, the jokes, the storyline, this all feels outdated. It really doesn't mesh into today's cultural society and film landscape, to be honest. And that did become evident in a lot of the jokes. There are a lot of like sexually charged jokes in this film. A couple land, but a lot of them are a little bit cringy. A lot of grabbing of butts or slapping butts in this movie that I was just like, what in the world is this? This very strange energy going on with this throughout the film. And again, it just felt weird and out of place in today's age. And I'm going to say that a lot of it was female on male. And it felt weird and out of place in our current cultural climate. Plus, we have Netflix now, and Netflix has pretty much carved out the niche on this market. This is what Netflix originals have been all year long. This has been the new bread and butter, just rom-com, these coming of age stories, and this would have just been the next step for a little bit older of an audience. And I think this should have probably been given to Netflix instead of a theatrical release, because there's really no reason to see this in the theater. There's none. You've seen this kind of film a million times before. It's kind of easy breezy entertainment, but it's not done really well on any category to warrant a theatrical release. Plus, I really didn't like the music, and I didn't like how they integrated the music. Some of these cuts were really messy, and that script was a mess. This is one of those stories where everything comes into play. These weird and crazy twists have to happen, and you're just kind of getting frustrated watching the script play out, because for the most part it's so paint by the numbers, and then you just call that they're going to loop this in and have to loop that around, and of course this is going to unfold this way, and there are just no real risks to be taken. And for a film that is what it presents itself to be, for the most part, I was a little bit disappointed that we did get just a bit of a bait and switch from the trailers and marketing. Even the title, second act, makes it seem like we're going to delve into an ageism issue. An ageism mixed with the misogyny, sexism issue in the workforce, and that's what we were going to get here. That's not the case, actually, at all. They don't really dive into that at all. There's literally one line in the film pretty much about that, and it's kind of like, oh, that's not what this movie's about at all. It's more about education in the workforce. But of course, we forego development or reason to get a pretty bow onto the top of this film. We just kind of like speed over tons of details. The timeline is a complete mess, especially as we near the end. The timeline, just throw it out the window. It doesn't make any sense. So overall, like I said, this is an early 2000s Jennifer Lopez film. Fortunately, it's not one of the better ones. It's not one of the ones that you'll want to revisit, that you have a fun, good time with. There are laughs, there are chuckles, there are some smiles to be had. It just breeze by. But I say wait for this to come to Netflix when you've already paid this subscription and you don't need to pay anything else to watch it, because that's where it should have gone in the first place. So that is my review of Second Act. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Second Act? And what is your favorite Jennifer Lopez romantic comedy? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!